realization coincided with the girls' Pixar movie phase, and they were nearly catatonic with joy after watching Finding Nemo. They begged for an aquarium full of exotic sea creatures, and their parents finally negotiated them down to one. One, and that's it! Goldfish. Aggie and Jack were thrilled, and had even settled on a name for their soon-to-be beloved pet. Sushi. And then they watched Ratatouille. Game over. At first, Jack hadn't been exactly delighted to share a name with their new rescue rat. But that was the name that his previous owner had given him, and Aggie pointed out that he had already been through enough trauma, and changing his name would probably be the final thing that did him in. "Here's hoping," her dad had muttered under his breath, which earned him dirty looks from both girls. But true to his species, Jack the Rat was a survivor, and Aggie reached back now and pressed her fingertip into the cage, which he sniffed excitedly until he realized that it was just Aggie and not a delicious food pellet. "I think Jack's nervous about moving," she said. She watched as her dad and Papa exchanged a quick glance in the front seat. They did that sometimes when they thought Aggie and/or Jack couldn't see them. It was sort of cute how they thought they were being subtle about it. "I'm serious," Aggie said. "He's just an animal. He doesn't understand." Jack replaced her headphones, no longer worried about Jack the Rat's welfare, but then held out a bag of jelly beans to Aggie, who gratefully accepted it and began fishing through it for the orange and yellow ones. Sometimes being a twin was annoying, but sometimes it worked out really well in her favor. Jack only liked the pink and green jellies, which made them one of the few things they had been able to share recently without devolving into an argument. It was weird, Aggie thought as she chomped down on a jelly bean, how you could look just like someone and still feel so different from them. The crisp sugar coating felt sticky sweet on her tongue as she watched the landscape go by. They had already made it through the worst part of the trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles. That long part of the 5 freeway that always seemed to take hours and hours and hours. They had stopped in Buttonwillow for lunch, which was Aggie's favorite town name ever. Jack's favorite was Isaac's, and they always had fun trying to pronounce it. But Aggie had a soft spot for Buttonwillow. It sounded like something from a cartoon show that she used to watch when she was younger. And to be honest, the kind of show she wishes she was still young enough to watch. A place where animal families would live in little toadstool houses and have escapades that always ended well. Aggie guessed her dads had a point when they said that she had a wild imagination, especially because, in truth, Buttonwillow had mostly gas stations, convenience stores, and lots of open space. The problem with a long drive to their new home, Aggie had started to realize around hour 4 in the car, was that it gave her a lot of time to think. And having a lot of time to think meant a lot of time to worry. Every so often, she'd glance over at Jack, who was either snoozing with her mouth open — yes, of course Aggie took a picture — reading a graphic novel, or watching YouTube videos. Aggie tried to do the same, of course, but she kept losing her place, or looking out the window for so long that she'd lose track of what was happening on her phone screen, until the worry would build up so big in her brain that there wasn't room for anything else. Aggie had always been the worrier. Even in baby photos, Jack had a serene smile on her little face, with Aggie right behind her with a suspicious frown. "State your name, state your business," her papa used to joke whenever they scrolled through old photos on their hard drive, and it was usually funny. But Aggie was the oldest twin by 2 minutes, and she took it seriously. And if Jack wasn't going to worry about things, well, then Aggie was just going to have to do it for her. The worries seemed to click through her brain as fast as the green freeway signs passed overhead. What if they weren't able to make any new friends? What if Jack made new friends and she didn't? What if their new school was too big and she got lost?